Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Explainer. Today we're eagerly jumping right into the fascinating, and let's be real, very delicate, world of maintaining a thriving reef tank. We're going to look closely at exactly how the professionals diagnose and treat those invisible ecosystem problems that can just quietly build up over time. If you've ever invested your time and passion into building an aquatic ecosystem, you already know that these tanks truly reward patience. But as our source material today outlines, small mistakes can and will compound. So we're going to explore how to spot these hidden issues long before they surface, keeping your marine life happy, healthy, and vibrant.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Why do healthy reef tanks suddenly crash? Man, this is probably one of the most common, heartbreaking, and frankly frustrating questions in the entire hobby. You're looking at your beautiful, seemingly stable tank one day, and literally the next day, everything just seems to be falling apart. But here is the secret that the pros know. These crashes almost never happen suddenly.
Actually, failures are rarely one dramatic overnight event. They really stem from gradual equipment drift, missed maintenance, and inconsistent testing. You see, when we rely on reactive adjustments, meaning we only fix things when we finally notice they're broken, we completely miss the slow drift that's been happening right under our noses the whole time. It's not an explosion, it's a slow leak.
To get a handle on this, we're going to follow a quick roadmap. First, we'll cover the silent crash. Then, the three health vectors: chemical, biological, and mechanical health. And finally, we'll wrap up with the pro prescription. Starting off with Part 1, the silent crash, and diagnosing that gradual drift.
Think of your reef tank like a living patient that's exhibiting symptoms of an underlying illness. You might walk by and notice an algae takeover, stressed out fish, cloudy water, or that really heartbreaking decline in your coral. But the absolutely crucial takeaway here is this. By the time you are actually seeing these physical symptoms with your own eyes, the underlying invisible problem has likely been happening in the background for weeks. The visible issue? That's just the final alarm bell ringing.
Moving into Section 2, chemical health, where we look at water chemistry and nutrient imbalances. Now, what's really fascinating is how we can map those visual symptoms we just talked about directly to invisible chemical shifts happening right in the water. The absolute biggest culprit here is parameter instability. This essentially means dangerous swings in the invisible chemical makeup of the tank. We're talking about elements like alkalinity, calcium, salinity, nitrate, or phosphates. These are the invisible building blocks your aquatic life totally relies on. And the crazy thing is, these swings are incredibly common. They're often caused by totally normal things like everyday water evaporation, slight variations in how much you feed your fish, or just using outdated dosing methods. These silent shifts act as a massive stressor, weakening your fish and really upsetting your corals.
So how do we handle this? Well, there is a stark contrast between the amateur approach and the professional methodology. The typical hobbyist usually relies on guesswork. They're using reactive dosing and outdated top-offs, essentially flying blind until something just looks wrong. But on the flip side, professionals use calibrated testing schedules. They track data trends over time. They are adjusting their dosing and top-off systems based strictly on measured, tracked water conditions, not just gut feelings or visual guesses.
And this actually feeds right into what I like to call the cleanliness myth. A lot of folks see an algae bloom and immediately think, oh, I just have a dirty tank. But the nutrient reality is way more complex than that. Algae is actually fueled by nutrient imbalances like high or sudden increases in nutrients combined with light and flow issues. It's often compounded by insufficient biological filtration or inefficient skimming, which is the mechanical removal of organic waste. Pros don't just grab a brush and try to scrub the tank clean. They evaluate feeding practices and filtration performance to reduce that nutrient accumulation, all without starving the beneficial processes the tank desperately needs to survive.
All right, Section 3, biological health, acclimation, stress, and hidden diseases.
You see, chemical stress perfectly sets the stage for our next invisible threat. When the chemistry is off, the biology is compromised. In fact, many reef chet problems actually kick off the exact moment you introduce something new to the tank. To prevent this, pros use a very proactive, step-by-step stocking method. Step 1 is strict quarantine and observation. Step 2 involves utilizing careful acclimation procedures. Because remember, new animals are arriving under entirely different water conditions than what's currently in your tank. And Step 3 is evaluating the biological load each new addition creates, as well as double-checking for aggression and compatibility with your existing livestock.
You've really got to remember that looks can be super deceiving here. Even totally healthy-looking animals, like vibrant fish or beautiful corals, can be carrying hidden pathogens and parasites.
Without that proper acclimation process we just looked at, the stress of the new environment lowers the tank's overall immunity. And that drop in immunity, that is exactly what allows those hidden pathogens to suddenly explode into a full-blown outbreak. When a tank's stress levels rise and that immunity drops, that's when you're going to start seeing the physical signs of these hidden disease outbreaks. You really want to keep an eye out for flared gills, rapid breathing, white spots, or skin irritation on your livestock. When these pop up, you literally cannot delay. You must monitor these health patterns and respond early using informed, reef-safe interventions. Delaying the fix only gives the outbreak a free pass to spread even further.
That brings us to Section 4, Mechanical Health, the silent equipment failures.
Think about it. This entire biological ecosystem we've been discussing relies completely on life support machinery. It's so easy to overlook, but hidden failure points, things like malfunctioning heaters, clogged return pumps, automatic dosing errors, or failing power heads that are supposed to generate your water flow, these can instantly turn a tiny hardware glitch into a massive biological emergency. To really grasp why this matters, just think about the catastrophic ripple effect. A single clogged pump, or maybe a heater that just refuses to turn off, creates rapid, deadly shifts in temperature, oxygenation, and water circulation. Remember, in a contained environment like a home aquarium, there's no natural ocean current to buffer these changes. The mechanical failure dictates the environment instantly.
This exposes a pretty massive behavioral gap. The amateur reaction is usually just waiting for a piece of equipment to visibly break or waiting until the livestock looks sick to even notice a flow issue. Pro prevention, on the other hand, is all about regularly inspecting the gear, verifying it actually works, calibrating the setups, and actively cleaning wear points way before they ever have a chance to clog. They catch the issue before the livestock ever feels the impact.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 5, the Pro Prescription, Prevention over Emergency Recovery.
This right here is the overarching cure for all the chemical, biological, and mechanical issues we've explored today. Let's be honest, when a system breaks down, emergency recovery is just grueling. It involves multiple rounds of troubleshooting, potential livestock losses, extensive rescues, and sometimes having to completely restart whole parts of your biological system. It is emotionally and financially draining. On the flip side, preventative support keeps your tank in a stable, happy comfort zone. It utilizes routine testing, documented maintenance, and responsive adjustments based on actual data. This proactive approach heavily reduces any downtime.
There's a quote directly from our source material that beautifully anchors the financial reality of all this. Preventative service often costs less than emergency recovery, and it is so absolutely true. The cost of replacing precious corals, rare fish, and burned-out equipment far, far outweighs the cost of just doing routine, proactive maintenance.
So the real takeaway here is turning these principles into a repeatable program. Whether it's your very first reef or you're managing a mature system, you need what we call the 4 pillars of consistency. Number 1, reliable measurements of your water chemistry. Number 2, clean and functioning mechanical equipment. 3, responsible additions with proper quarantines. And 4, early intervention at the very first sign of a data shift.
I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. Take a second to audit your own habits and ask yourself, are you spending your time reacting to problems, just constantly fighting fires in your tank? Or are you utilizing professional preventative consistency so you can actually sit back and enjoy the beauty of your reef? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep measuring, and I'll catch you next time.